As a vet, I spend a lot of time answering food related and nutrition related questions. And one of the most common ones I get is, how many meals should my dog or cat have in a day? Now, this seems very straightforward, but this wouldn't be a whole podcast episode if it was, right? So, today, let's dig into that question and find out how nuanced it can actually be.
Welcome to the Practical Pet Parenting Podcast, where science and research meets simplicity, practicality, and humor. Because we all know that pet parenting isn't just one thing. It's magical, beautiful, life-changing, frustrating, and overwhelming all at the same time. I'm Dr. Ashita Suresh, a vet, a mom, a dog mom, on the multiple species pet parenting journey just like so many of you. Join me as we cut through the noise, fear, and fluff and take pet parenting from overwhelming to, well, barely manageable.
Now, before we proceed, let's clear a few things first. For the context of this episode, it is assumed that your pet is eating a balanced diet. And ultimately, no matter how many meals your pet is taking or not taking, it is the total daily intake in terms of both the number of calories and the nutrients that they are taking that matters in the long run. So now that we have made these two statements, let's move on. Unsurprisingly, the answer to this question differs for both cats and dogs. Coming to dogs, while the most widely recommended suggestion for them is to eat 2 meals a day, not more than 12 hours apart, dogs are actually quite flexible in this regard. So, if your dog is perfectly healthy and not having any medical condition, as long as they are taking in their daily nutritional needs and as long as they are having a complete and balanced diet, it doesn't matter how many meals they split that daily intake into. Now, this is actually very good news because you have a lot of flexibility here. You can give them 1, 2, 3, 4 or more meals as long as you are keeping the daily intake the same. Why does this matter? Because you can tailor this to your dog's personality and your lifestyle. For example, if you have a dog who is clearly not that food motivated, a little picky, you can get away with giving them one big meal or even two evenly spaced meals so that you're not keeping food in front of them again and again, which they might not be interested in. In contrast, if you have a dog who lives to eat, I'm looking at you, Labradors, and if they're going to beg all the time, every time you take some food, they are going to beg you for it. It would be much better if you could give them food whenever you eat so that they have their bowl and you have your plate so that they don't bother you. So this way you can give them 3 meals or you can give them a small snack when you are having tea, coffee, whatever. So that way you can increase the number of meals to save your sanity as well. Another thing is if you have a dog who tends to vomit due to acidity a lot if their stomach is empty for too long, then you can switch to giving them a small, more frequent meal. So this way you can easily cater the number of meals to their lifestyle, to their preferences and your lifestyle, provided you are keeping their daily intake complete and balanced. The point again is to make sure of two things. One, their daily needs are met, and two, you are not driving yourself crazy. Now let's move on to cats. Cats are a little bit more rigid in this matter. Why? It's because cats, by evolution and even today, are hunters. This means that their day looks like waking up, spending a lot of time finding, catching something small like a mouse or a bird, and they eat that very small meal. They rest and then they get hungry again and they hunt. So, this happens multiple times throughout the day. And even in our domestic cats, this instinct has still stayed very strong with them. They do best when that behavior is mimicked and you feed them multiple small meals in a day. And honestly, for a lot of cats, feeding them once or twice a day will at best not meet their nutritional needs because they don't eat much at every meal. So they won't take in as much as they need to, and at worst it could create stress around food, so it may create a false sense of scarcity for them, and that stress will eventually translate into any unwanted behaviors like over grooming or even disease like stress related urinary tract disease. And at this point, if you are thinking, Ashita, we all have lives, we all cannot sit at home feeding our cats every 2 3 hours, I agree with you, and I am here to tell you that you don't have to sit at home, feed your cats all day, as long as you can be a little creative and take a bit of help from today's modern innovations. A few things that work great for cats are: one, timed automatic feeders. Now these are a bit high tech compared to your standard bowl, but you can program their portions and also the timings where they are given out. So this works great, especially for kibble. Downside, they are expensive. And if you can manage only 2 or maybe 3 meals when you are at home, another great way is to use a food puzzle. You know, the kinds where you can fill up with food and you can leave them there when you are not at home. Now, in addition to having them get something to eat, they're also great for mimicking that hunting behavior, because they have to kind of play with it, roll it so that the food falls out. So it's also a great way for enrichment to keep them entertained while also giving them a bit of food. Another thing about cats is that when they are still strongly into this, hunting all day pattern, just eating food out of a bowl is honestly very, very boring for them. If you think about how much they actually work for their food. And this can cause them to eat a lot more than they should. This is one of the main reasons that free feeding is so dangerous, especially today with all the foods that are so delicious that are available in the market, that it can genuinely override their satiety mechanisms and make them eat more, which will lead to them getting overweight and even obese. So, for this, another great solution is puzzle feeders or slow feeders. You might have seen them. These are these bowls, the food bowls with buttons and compartments where you fill it up and your cat has to open it, and there are grooves where they have to go a little bit inside. One, they have to eat more slowly, and two, they have to exercise a little bit of their mental capacity for their food, which honestly works great for them. And if you don't have an ant problem or a pest problem, a really great method that works for some cats is scatter feeding. This is basically when you take some dry food or any food, honestly, and just scatter it, spill it all over the floor. And it works great. A lot of them just love going around and picking up every piece. And it also helps them get a little movement and exercise in while they're eating. Again, that mental stimulation is also there. Now, granted, all these methods are not going to suit all cats, and it is going to take a bit of trial and error to see what your cat likes. But again, the core message, as long as they are getting their needs met and they are not showing any stress related behaviors, all is good. So, as you've realized by now, just like almost everything in veterinary medicine, the answer to the question, how many meals should I feed my pet in a day, turned out to be, it depends. But ultimately, the goal is to respect who they are and feed them in a way that meets their needs and also keeps you as stress free as possible.
Thank you so much for listening to the Practical Pet Parenting Podcast. If you found this helpful, don't forget to follow, rate, or review. Whatever your podcasting app allows you to do it. You can also find me on Instagram at Indian Pet Vet and read more at practicalpetparenting.com. Much love to you and your pets, and see you next week.